Joy Houston from The Delicious Revolution, and today we're going to use up the last of the heirloom tomatoes from the garden and make a bruschetta pizza. Just in case you don't know how to make bruschetta, I cheated ahead and I chopped the tomatoes, which you can do with your eyes closed, and we're going to go ahead and make the bruschetta together. In the meanwhile, I have a standard pizza crust. Now you can make a dough ahead yourself, you can buy one, you can use one of those Boboli type items, whatever works for you, but I just got that getting nice and warm in the oven. So I want to take a look at that, and that's just heating up so it'll be nice and warm. What I love about this pizza is that it's so fast. You get a pizza that's, you know, at least half vegetables instead of all bread and sopping greasy cheese. We get lots of vegetables on there and it's really quick. All we have to do, like I said, chop some tomatoes. I've got those draining. You do want to go ahead and let a little bit of fluid drain out while you prepare the cheese and the basil so that the tomatoes don't make the pizza crust soggy, all right? So we're gonna dump that right into our bowl. And we'll get rid of that. And then we're gonna take a tablespoon of garlic. For me, I had 2 big cloves. That worked out to 2 big cloves. And then we're gonna take some basil. Now this is a good time to show you how to chiffonade cut some basil. So let me just get this out of the way and give you a good view. If you take your basil and you leave it stem side down, and you just place it on top of each other until you have a nice stack. So again, the stems are all at the bottom, leaf pointing toward the same direction. So in my case, the stems are towards me and the leaf is pointing away. We're gonna put those in a nice stack, and that way we can just cut them in one direction. It's gonna give us some nice, pretty little ribbons to mix into the bruschetta. You could just chop it any old way if you want, but why not just take an extra minute to sort of line them up in the same general direction? It doesn't have to be perfect. It's family pizza night for me, so I don't have to have it perfect. But I do like the beautiful ribbons that it gives you. It's always nice to have a little artistic touch here and there. And this certainly is a quick, easy way to do that. Now you just want to stop at the stems, pull all the little thick stems out. You don't want those in there. And then take those pretty ribbons of basil. Oh my God, the smell of this is amazing. And we're gonna toss that into our bruschetta. So now in our bowl here, we have basil, we have 2 cloves of garlic, and I had small tomatoes of all different sizes because our garden's just at the end of giving us yummy, juicy tomatoes. So I had about 5 or 6 of them, but you wanna have 2 to 3 cups of tomatoes. And then we just have 3/4 of a cup of cheese. Now, usually when you make a pizza, you've got a ton of cheese, right? Half the pizza ends up just being greasy cheese. With this pizza, we have mostly tomatoes and basil and garlic and only a little bit of cheese. So obviously that's gonna be a much healthier choice for us. I'm just gonna toss these together a little bit. Now we're gonna add some olive oil. Now you wanna use about 1/4 cup, but you wanna take your clues from your own vegetables. If for some reason you were using Roma tomatoes that weren't quite as juicy, go ahead and use a little more. You're also gonna add just a pinch of salt in here. Once again, you wanna stick with sea salt or kosher salt. Do not use iodized table salt. It's much more sodium per teaspoon than a sea salt or a kosher salt. And we're gonna put some pepper in here. I don't think there's any substitution for fresh cracked black pepper. If you're pressed for time and you don't have one of these gadgets, then I guess you have to settle. Me, I'm not settling. The salt and the pepper are really the only spice that we need with this dish, so why not take an extra minute to fresh crack the black pepper? So all we're gonna do is toss this. See now, I want it to have a nice glisten. This isn't quite glistening enough for me, so like I said, take your cue from your vegetables. Don't stick to the recipe, stick to what comes out fabulous. Once we toss this and we see there's a nice glistening to the tomatoes and to the basil, just a tiny bit on the cheese, we know we're good to go. Now, if we wanted to have this as an appetizer, wham bam, we're done. We could just serve this with some crostinis or crackers, but I kind of think it's a shame to do that. So I like to pile this on top of a pizza. So let me just show you how we do that. Pull that right out of the oven. There we go. Okay, now see, I just had some dough and sprinkled just a little bit of cheese on it so it gives a nice crispy texture. We're not gonna need any red sauce on this pizza whatsoever. Now all I'm gonna do is move this so you can see. All I'm gonna do is dump this on. Now, if there's any fluid in the bottom of the bowl, we don't want that on there. So, we don't want that on there because it'll leave the crust soggy. So we wanna just dump, being careful to leave any liquid. I'm good, it doesn't look like I have a lot of liquid there in the bottom. And we're gonna spread that nice and evenly all the way out to the edges. And then look at that, instead of a piece of bread piled with greasy cheese, we have a nice crispy crust, no sog to it whatsoever. And we could serve that as is if you wanted to, if you wanted a nice temperature contrast between the bread and the pizza. But I like to warm it up in the oven. What that does, just slightly wilts the basil, makes the flavor kind of expand into the rest of the dish, and it warms the tomatoes and the cheese clear through. Now, you're not looking to get any bubbling cheese, there's just not that much cheese, so you're not gonna get it. All you wanna do is put it in the oven just for a moment or two, 3 minutes max. It's gonna warm the vegetables clear through, and you're gonna slice it and serve it. Now, with the chopping and the mincing of the garlic, the chiffonading of the basil, you know, we knocked this pizza out here. The only thing you didn't see was the chopping of the tomatoes, which took me 2 minutes. So in 5 to 8 minutes, you're done with the prep work. You have the table set, you're ready to go. You got dinner in under 20 minutes. If you like this and you would like other healthy recipes, please log on to thedeliciousrevolution.com and see if there's not more things that might tickle your fancy. This is Joy Houston. Take care.